What's up, guys? We got a special episode of Comfoodication today. To give you a little context, I've had the privilege of serving and helping out the Fusion Ministry. What this is a group of students, young professionals who all have a passion for serving those in need in poverty-stricken areas, which we have San Bernardino here, which is about 10 minutes away from where I live in Loma Linda. And so we've been going out every day, passing out food, hygiene items, water, literature, buying kids toys. It's been such a awesome ministry. And just a couple days ago, we had the privilege of meeting this family, a family of 7, 2 parents and 5 kids and a dog. So that's eight mouths to feed, who have been living on the streets for 6 months. Now, we can't sit down at their favorite restaurant and eat because of the current situation that we're in. But I did ask them, you know, what's your guys' favorite food? What can I make for you? And they requested carne asada tacos. So I'm gonna try to make those. I recruited some friends to help me out. And so we're gonna sit down, share a meal together, and get to hear their story. Here we go. All right, so today we're gonna make carne asada tacos per request of the family. Now, this cut of meat that's cut from the short loin of the cow can very easily become tough and chewy if not prepared the right way. And so the first step to getting a juicy and tender cut of meat, once you pull it off the grill, is creating the marinade. Now, what the marinade does will break down those fibers as we let it sit in the refrigerator for a couple hours, and just really tenderize the meat, because we're gonna be adding a lot of acid, a lot of salt, and so you're gonna get to see how I prepare my marinade right now. We just start off with some simple ingredients, some fresh jalapeno, onion, cilantro, chipotle peppers, and minced garlic. Now we're gonna combine 1.5 cups of orange juice, a 1/2 cup of freshly squeezed lime, a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and a 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Now we're just gonna add all those chopped ingredients to the mix. Now just whisk it up. Right, now we add our seasoning, and I just eyeball all these. Salt, we got chili powder, give a nice smoky flavor. Next we have cumin. Now we have some cayenne, crushed red pepper. Give it a little spice, and whisk it all together. Right, now that our marinade is complete, it's time to submerge the meat and just let it soak up all that flavor. All right, so now that we have our meat marinating in the fridge, I'm gonna let that sit and marinate for about 6 hours. This is really gonna make that meat tender and juicy, allowing those acids to break down that cartilage, break down that fat, and just infusing it with so much flavor. All right, so I invited my friend Juan here, who's also a volunteer at Fusion Ministry. He's decided to help us out by making some guacamole salsa. So let's see what we got going on.
What's going on, everybody?
So what do we got? What do we got going on?
All right, so like Jordan said, we're gonna make guacamole salsa. This salsa is super easy. You do it pretty fast, and it's very simple. The ingredients are tomatillos, jalapeno peppers, serrano peppers, cilantro, 1/4 of an onion, garlic, and you can put 1 or 2 avocados in the mix. All right, so the first step is I'm gonna throw the tomatillos, the serranos, the jalapenos into this pot of water, and we're gonna let it boil.
While we're waiting for Juan's ingredients to boil, time to throw the carne asada on the grill. Just listen to that sizzle. All right, so we threw on some onions. You can see, double wrap. It's gonna go good on the tacos.
This is how you know they're ready. So initially you saw more of a lighter green. Now you have this darker green, and it's a lot more soft than before. So what you do is just take out the tomatillos, throw them in your blender. What we do next, we throw in a little bit of cilantro. It's gonna give that green color that you want. We throw the onion in there. A little bit of garlic. Then we finally throw in our avocado. Ooh. That's it.
Let's go. Chef Juan, thank you very much. What do you want to say to the people?
That's it. Just thank you guys.
All right, so I pulled the carne asada off the grill and I toss it back in some of the marinade. Now just to finish it off. Where we can learn from them. Lord, I just pray that you bless this food to nourish and strengthen our bodies. In your name I pray, amen. Amen. All right, before we get into their story, let's introduce the family. We have Mercy and Armando, the loving parents. We have Crystal, who's 6 years old and an awesome TikTok dancer. Louise, who's 8 years old and loves Hershey's chocolate bars. Kimberly, who's 12 years old and an honor roll student. Anna, who's 13 years old and is awesome at every sport. And Armando Jr., who's 16 years old and wants to join the Army. Now let's hear their story. So, how long have you guys been in San Bernardino?
In San Bernardino, like 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
And what brought you to San Bernardino?
Co-worker or worker that was trying to put us in the apartment that we were evicted. When we got into the apartments, I started working with the apartments, cleaning, sweeping all the parking lot. Then I stopped working because I started having some issues with some ladies from there. After that, they hired him.
And how long were you working for the apartment?
4 months.
4 months.
I stopped working because they didn't pay me.
They weren't paying you. And were you still able to pay rent?
No. The thing is that when the owner evicted us, at that time he got into a fight with some guy that used to live also in the apartments. It was a friend of mine. He started molesting me and my daughters, so he decided to when my husband know about that, he was carrying a bat and he went after him and they end up fighting. All this happens when we were already homeless. He ended up going to jail and I end up still being homeless with my kids in my van. The 7 of us, we used to be only by ourselves. We didn't have no friend that could go to the house because he said the only friend that we had, it was us.
So you guys, once you were out evicted from the apartments, what did the day look like? Because I know the kids were still going to school, right? During this time, what's the routine that you guys would go through?
Well, I wake up in the morning very early and then I put some water to so I can take a shower. They go to school at 7 o'clock, and then after that I'll pick up the kids. And, you know, they were on high school, like I take them over there. And just like take care of the park, you know, because there were all our things there.
In the evening time, everyone be together.
And then we're thinking where we're gonna take a shower, so to the gas station and get some water from there.
Okay, wow. So you guys were doing this for how long?
Like 6 months.
6 months. Okay. What would you say was like the most difficult thing for you guys to have to deal with out on the streets?
It's been to this time. I'm not embarrassed to be homeless, but it's still have been rough days because I have been seeing people that I used to work that I say hi, and they just like, I don't know you.
Wow.
It was hard because I barely like 2 weeks ago I lost another job that I had. They hired me at a gas station and I was so happy. I went for 3 days, 3 days, but they told me that I can no longer be working because I didn't have a car. Because I had to put a balance or my family staying out of the car in the park, or me having my job. So I decided to leave my job.
How would you say you guys have been able to stay positive and hopeful through this time?
Well, because I see their faces and that motivate me to get up and and move and take other things,
Yeah, keep moving forward.
I do all the things by myself. I don't want them to help me, so they're like, just go.
You want your kids to have fun
yeah.
and still be kids, yeah. Do a silly face. Yeah, show us your silliest face. So you guys really like TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Who would you say is the best TikTok dancer out of all you guys? Anna?
Crystal.
Crystal! I don't know, Crystal has some good dance moves.
Nice, Crystal.
If you could have any superpower, Louise, what kind of superpower would you want? Would you want to fly? Yeah?
Right now.
Whoa, he can do it right now. What about you, Anna?
Fly so I can go to every ride or Knoxbury Farm without paying.
Skip all the lines. That's a good answer.
Fly.
What, you would fly too? See, Anna, who's someone that you look up to as a role model?
My parents
All your parents. What
and
about
my
you?
brothers and my sisters.
Wow. What about you, Armando?
Me, I know.
Well, for me, it's my parents, because I've been through a lot with them.
If you guys could say anything to other kids who might be going through a similar situation that you're going through, either staying in their van or a tent, what would you want to say to them to kind of encourage them?
To let them know that Jesus is with them.
To not lose the faith, because Jesus is with them and they'll get home.
There's still hope, and it doesn't matter if you're homeless or not. Like, you can still go to school and still have the same education of everybody else.
Is there anything that you would want to say to either other families that are going through difficult times? Maybe have just lost a job.
As long as they keep that faith and they keep as a family, if they're a family, to keep together, everything's gonna be okay. It's hard for me to say because it's hard for me to to acknowledge that, because if it would be for my kids and him, I had so much thoughts of committing suicide like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
I feel that I'm not worth it anymore.
But your family have kept you going.
Oye, que se les pone el rimen. Se les pone el rimen.
In the situation that we are, I asked them if they're happy living with us, and they say yes. Because even though I thought about telling them if they decided for us to give into the system so they could have a better life, they told me that if I was crazy, that they love us no matter what.
That's what family does. They stick together, and now we're part of your family, and
Thank you.
you're part of our family, and so we're gonna continue to stick with you guys throughout. Thank you for sharing your story, and
Thank you guys for giving us food and
of course, it's the least we could do.
For putting my daughters in a safe place.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
hard.
Thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to know that after a big tunnel, sooner or later we're gonna see the light.
That's it. That's it.
Let's go to the park!
Let's go to the park.
Please get down.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Watch out, LeBron James. Watch out, LeBron James. Whoa. Thanks for watching this episode of Comfoodication. I hope you learned something new and realized homelessness can happen to anybody. To help support and donate money to this incredible family, a GoFundMe link is in the description portion below. To donate to Fusion Ministries, that link is also down below. This helps us go out and reach even more families, more individuals who are struggling in poverty. Thanks again for watching, and join me next time as I focus on the able and not the label.